Okay, so Town A has a rectangular park. The length of the park is x and the width of the park is 25 meters shorter than the length. The area of the park is 2,200 square meters. The very first thing I want to do here is draw a little picture so I can visualize all of this. So we've got a length of x and a width which is 25 meters shorter than the length. So x minus 25 is the width. I put brackets around this because I have two terms representing one measurement, so they need to be grouped together. And that's what brackets do, they group terms together. I know the area of this park is 2,200 meters squared, and I've taken care while reading this question to check the units to make sure they haven't changed units on me, because obviously that would affect my work. So, the principle that we're obviously interested in is the area of a rectangle. We know the area of a rectangle is length times width. So my formula that's relevant over here is area equals length times width. And when I substitute into that formula, I'm going to get 2,200 is equal to x times x minus 25. I'm not in a rush to worry about this thing at all. Whenever we're doing a problem-solving question, we've got to think about what rule or formula is relevant and substitute into that formula, start to put these numbers and these measurements into context. And only once I've done that do I start to think about how I'm going to get to their answer. There's no real simple jobs to do over here, so I'm just going to start manipulating my equation. And the first thing I want to do is multiply out my brackets, at which stage we should notice, hey, this thing is quadratic, and I always want my quadratic equations to end up equaling 0. So I'm going to grab this 2,200 and shift it to the other side where it becomes negative, and hopefully we can now see that I'd have x squared minus 25x minus 2,200 equal to 0, which is the solution they wanted me to get to. In the next part of the question, they're almost certainly going to want a solution for this. The reason why that hasn't happened on this worksheet is because that solution is actually done using a different method. They want a solution which rounds. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if they ask you to round a solution, it won't be done by factorization. If they're asking you not to round a solution, that's where factorization is likely going to be your best strategy. So on to the next question. I'm factorizing x squared plus 4x minus 5. This is a nice simple factorization. No big go big then go home rule here. So I need two brackets, an x at the beginning of each one. I need two numbers that multiply to make 5 and subtract to make 4. Remember, we capture whatever sign is here to tell us what the rule is to make the number in the middle. They minus to make 4 because that's a minus between the 4x and the 5. So times to make 5 and subtract to make 4, the numbers we're looking for are quite clearly 5 and 1. To get a positive 4, I'm going to have to add 5 and subtract 1. And there it is. Now in the next question, we're being shown this equation, this identity over here, x squared minus 12x plus a equals x plus b squared. We're asked to find the value of a and the value of b. So basically, think about when we're adding or subtracting, we have to have things which are like terms. Common denominators, everything is x's, everything is the same kind of thing. That means they can be compared and then combined or subtracted easily. And right now we have a similar idea. I can't really compare something which is multiplied out to something which is in brackets. So in order to make it easier to compare both sides, I'm going to multiply out these brackets. Remember that x plus b squared is not x squared plus b squared. We have to do x plus b times x plus b because square means times by itself, and that counts for the whole bracket. That's x squared plus xb plus another xb plus b squared. That's going to get me x squared plus 2bx plus b squared. So now I'm going to compare x squared minus 12x plus a to x squared plus 2bx plus b squared. So, if we look at the x's on both sides, minus 12x has to be the same as 2bx. So 2b has to equal minus 12, which means b has to equal minus 6. We also know that b squared has to equal a. B squared equals a, so minus 6 squared equals a must be 36. And the rest of the solutions will be in the next video.